All right, all right. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's able to hop in here on the live stream. Really excited. I have YouTube going. We've got Instagram going. And let's go ahead and kick this thing off. What's good, Creative Fam? Brandon Washington here. And I'm really excited about this live stream. As some of you guys maybe saw last night, I actually had been testing out this entire thing. And today is my first real attempt at this. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I am actually currently going live on Instagram and on YouTube at the exact same time. It's the exact same live stream. So if you're watching right now over on YouTube, pull out your phone, check it out on Instagram. You can see that it's literally the exact same feed because this has been something that I have been working on for a while. I want to do a lot of live trainings for you guys. As you guys know, my YouTube channel is all about helping you guys learn more about filmmaking, whether that's gear, tips, tutorials, you name it. That's pretty much what my channel is all about. And so my idea is with these live streams that I'm going to be able to actually teach you guys some really, really awesome stuff. Primarily, I'm going to be able to go in more depth with a lot of the trainings. Now, yes, I do still sell training courses. In fact, I've got a new training course that's actually dropping on Monday, the Real Estate Masterclass. But I understand not everyone can take advantage of those. Not everyone can afford those. So I still want to be able to give an opportunity for people to learn here on YouTube and be able to, be able to still make a living or try to turn their passion into a career. And so that is what these live streams are ultimately going to become. Now, as far as the schedule with the live streams, that is something that is still a work in progress. As I am trying to figure out when is the best time to do the live stream for my audience. I used to live stream back in the day, and what I typically found was that you either need to live stream more towards the afternoon after people have gotten off of work, or you live stream early in the morning so that the early birds can get up and watch it. But then the nice thing with Instagram and YouTube is the fact that I can let the live streams live at least for 24 hours. On Instagram, I can let the live stream live for 24 hours. And I think that's really going to be a really big bonus. So if you are watching right now on Instagram, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hopping in on this thing. I know I'm going to be getting a lot of questions, and I've been asking you guys to send me some questions over on Instagram. So don't worry, I'm going to be answering those questions that I was receiving through my, your Instagram stories, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, I know some of you guys out there maybe follow me on YouTube and you don't follow me on Instagram and you didn't know that I was going to be doing a Q&A. Well, don't worry. You can still add your questions into the comment section or into the live chat. I've got a pretty decent little setup right here. So I can see my Instagram chats going on. I can see my YouTube questions going on over here. So any questions that you guys have, definitely leave those in the chat now. And I'm going to start answering some questions for you guys. Now, the one thing I will say, the only real benefit to watching on Instagram versus YouTube is I think YouTube actually does a better job at processing the video. So the quality is going to be a little bit better over on YouTube. The other thing is that over on YouTube, you obviously can do super chats. Now, I'm not saying that anyone has to actually pay for me to answer their question. I'm going to do my absolute best to answer any and every question that comes up on the screen. But I will say that if you do super chat a question, it obviously is going to get bumped up to the top of the list because the whole screen lights up on my end, lets me know that I got a super chat, and obviously I'll be directed towards that and I'll answer that question. No dollar amount is too small. I mean, literally it just helps you get to the top. But right now, honestly, I think I can get to pretty much everybody's questions, no matter where you guys are looking at it. So I'm going to hop into the chat for just a moment and just kind of acknowledge some of the people. Right now I'm hopping into YouTube, and I've got my monitor over here. And I can see a lot of people who've hopped in. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who've been hopping in. Man, these are some awesome comments. I appreciate everyone who's here. Solomon, Wise Mind Films, James, what's up, brother? Mario, what's you doing? Doug is up in here. Everybody on YouTube, show some love to Douglas Brown. He's actually been following the YouTube channel for a really, really long time. Has become a really, really good friend, so I appreciate you. Scopes, the feed on Instagram is 90 degrees tilted. Yes. So if you're watching on Instagram, I'm going to get ready to hop into the Instagram questions in a moment. But last night, one thing we looked at was the downside to rotating my video on Instagram. So I had the video set to be kind of the long way, or I guess the right way for Instagram, but you can't really see the screen. And that is something that I'm going to be doing. And I'll show you guys some of that here in just a little bit. But on Instagram, at least as of right now, unless you guys tell me that it looks terrible, so definitely let me know if it looks terrible on Instagram. But I currently have it rotated at 90 degrees. So that way you get a more wider frame of view, especially when I start doing some picture-in-picture trainings, which is something that I'm planning on doing. Now, I know on Instagram right now, you see the comments, and unfortunately, there's no way to get rid of those comments on Instagram. But I will say that once the video replays, so after the live stream is over, if you maybe got to the live stream late, or you didn't get a chance to catch it, or you're catching it within the 24 hours that it's going to live on Instagram, you can play it back, and it really just plays back like a video. And you even have the option to tap on the side of the live stream video to kind of skim through it, almost like IGTV, but not quite. So that is something that I really, really enjoy. I'm going to hop into the Instagram chat really quick so I can make sure I acknowledge everybody who's showing up there. So I appreciate everyone who's here. Dylan Rayo 8, hi. See, I said hi to you. Looks like I got James over here too. Scopes over here too. What has been the greatest accomplishment as a filmmaker? My greatest accomplishment as a filmmaker right now has definitely just been being able to make this thing that I love doing a career. That is by far my greatest accomplishment. How are you live on a computer? I will let you guys know that here in just a little bit. I will go over this live stream setup because I know a lot of people are going to want to know how I'm actually able to pull this off on Instagram and on YouTube. Carlos Jr., what's up, brother? I appreciate you being here. Andre, appreciate you hopping in here. Sack Habit, what up? Joshua Martin, man. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break just to let everybody know, like, if you happen to not know who Joshua Martin is, you need to go identify him quickly. Go check out his Instagram. He has a YouTube channel as well, but he drops so much knowledge bombs. He's one of those creators, a lot like myself, where we don't have massive followings, but just putting out really, really high quality content. Great information, goes really in depth, and it's not just about the flashy stuff that we typically see on YouTube. It's actually like high quality content. So I definitely recommend you check them out. Cool. So that is kind of what is going on right now. So I see the chat kind of lighting up a little bit over and on YouTube here. I'm going to just take a second. Hello from Germany. Appreciate it. I want to know if there is a difference between using a Rode video microphone directly on the camera, or if it's better to use a Tascam microphone. Okay, so I'm going to get into some of the filmmaking questions in just a little bit. Any tips on filming with using standard profile versus picture profiles? Recommendations for quick turnaround? Mario, I think you can, depends on. Yeah, so I appreciate, James, I appreciate you hopping in the comment and answering some questions for me. So this is the Creative Fam live stream. I know people are still kind of pouring in. I'm trying to figure out like how I can actually tell how many people are actually on this live stream. It's not really giving me those type of analytics here on YouTube. Let's see if it can give me any of those informations, because I don't even know who exactly I'm talking to unless you're in the comments. If you're in the comments, then I'll see what's going on. But so welcome everybody to this Creative Fam live stream. For those who are just getting here, I just want to reiterate that this live stream is all about one, me being able to train, and that is the whole purpose here, is I want to be able to teach you guys more. And so some of the things that I wanted to do on this live stream is know what are some of the topics as filmmakers that you guys want to know more about. I mean, that's really one of the big driving points for me, is what are some of the things that you guys are looking to learn? What are the areas that you maybe you're finding struggles in, whether that's dealing with clients or whether that's actual shooting, or, you know, what gear to buy, all those kind of things. I'd love to know what you guys are really, really interested in, because I know there's a lot of YouTube videos that just drop tons and tons of content, but my goal is to drop content that actually benefits you. And so the way that that's going to help me is if I know what'll benefit you, I'll know exactly what type of content to drop out for you guys. So any content that you guys are wanting to know more about, definitely make sure that you add those in the chat. Let's see what else we have going on here. I'm just trying to keep up with all the chats that are happening right now. Streaming on 2 platforms is great, but that means you also have to monitor 2 different platforms worth of comments. So this has definitely been a really, really fun experience so far. All right, so for those of you guys who are wondering, what is this setup? What exactly am I doing at this point? So I'm going to show you guys just a quick little setup of kind of how I have everything going on. So I'm currently rocking a 3, technically 4 channel view, and the whole thing right now is actually being powered by a piece of software, actually a piece of hardware called the ATEM Mini Pro. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch to a new camera. I'm going to hit auto right there. And then boom, you guys can see, I'll pull that out of frame for a moment. This guy right here is the ATEM Mini Pro. It is what is allowing me to do some of this switching that you guys are currently seeing. The ATEM Mini Pro is an awesome piece of software, and it's really what's allowing me to take my creativity and these live streams to the next level, because I can do multicams, I can do picture in picture, and I can train on pretty much anything that we want to learn about here on the channel. So for example, not only do I have the ability to do like a secondary camera angle, like a drop camera angle, but I also have the ability to showcase what's going on my computer. So let's say, for example, we wanted to talk about something that is happening on the Blackmagic site. All I got to do is hit this button, switch. Now you guys can see what's going on my laptop, and down in the bottom left corner, you can see that I'm able to do picture in picture. And so one thing, for example, if we wanted to talk about the latest Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, if there was anything on my computer I wanted to show you guys, I'm able to actually do this not only on YouTube, but also on Instagram. So again, that's right, I'm trying to take the trainings and the live streams to the next level. That is, in my opinion, the entire purpose of all of this. So that's really what I'm really excited about. Now, I know some of you guys are probably wondering, you know, how am I able to actually pull this off on YouTube and on Instagram at the same time? So the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera is actually the main camera that I'm currently shooting this on. So I am using a real camera. Now I'm running that camera into the ATEM Mini Pro, and on the ATEM Mini Pro, I'm actually kind of outsourcing or outputting the source to 2 different locations. I have one going straight to YouTube to go live on YouTube, and that is one of the big benefits of the ATEM Mini Pro. However, I will also say that the other source is going straight into OBS. Now, I know a lot of people hate OBS, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not a massive fan of it either, but OBS is what is allowing me to go live on Instagram. So I'm taking the same feed, but I'm just broadcasting it live from 2 different sources. One being a physical source directly from the ATEM Mini Pro, and then the second one going straight into OBS, so that way I can actually broadcast Instagram and give you guys the exact same feed. So that's how I'm actually able to pull off some of these deals. So I'm going back into the chat for just a moment, because I see so many of you guys are hopping in here. And let's see, what do we got? Let's see. Ooh, questions we're rolling in pretty quick. So let's see. When you want to see numbers of patients, pricing. So pricing, I know pricing is always a big question, and how you actually go about, pricing your work to your clients. That's never an easy thing. And I can honestly tell you that as someone who does this full time, pricing doesn't get easier. Now, I will say the one thing that does get easier is rejecting lower offers. Once you start to kind of get an idea for your value and your worth, it does become easier to reject lowball offers, especially once you start generating income and you're not, working job to job, paycheck to paycheck, basically. It becomes easier to say no to those lowball jobs. When you're first starting out, I know it's very, very difficult to do that. I'm not even going to try to pretend like it's not. So pricing is definitely something we can do an entire live stream on. I'm anxious to see what you do when you rock the new F6. So where is it? I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what other questions we have popping in here. My camera is a Nikon. What do you think? Man, even at 480 images looks dope. Appreciate the A10 Mini Pro. It's like a unicorn right now. Yeah, the A10 Mini Pro is definitely difficult to get your hands on. I will say, though, I got really lucky. Somebody I knew personally actually purchased like a couple of the A10 Mini Pros, and he was able to hook me up with one. So that was really the only reason why I was able to get one that I could hold on to. Love the A10 Mini Pro. Makes my live streams so seamless. The A10 Mini Pro is really, really great for live streams. I literally bought it for this purpose, and I'm glad that I'm actually finally using it. I think I posted on my Instagram about 2 weeks ago when I actually got it, and it's literally taken me that long to get the live streams to this point where I actually feel like they're worth broadcasting out to everybody. Let's see what else we got going on in the chat here. I love that you guys are just communicating with each other, because that's the whole point of, YouTube and all of this, to create a fam. The reason why I call it a fam is because I've always wanted us as a group to be able to help make each other better. You guys probably don't even know it, but a lot of the reasons why I've even become a better filmmaker in the last 3 years since I started YouTube, maybe 3 years I've been on YouTube. I've gotten so much better from you guys' feedback, telling me what I've been doing wrong, which, trust me, that's YouTube, that's the comment section. Of course, they tell you what you do wrong, but if you're smart, you can learn from it. And then also just getting, praise when I'm actually doing things right. And that really, really helps, so I know what I'm doing and if things are looking good. Do you personally use 5600 Kelvin daylights indoor thing like interviews, or do you change depending on the time of day? What do you do if it's mixed daylights with tungsten in the background? So that's a really, really good filmmaking question. So the question that he asked was basically, what color lights do I use? So this is something that I've actually been recently testing out a lot. So I personally have almost always shot with daylight, and that's because I very rarely am dealing with a situation where there's not at least some spill of sunlight in the area that I'm shooting. So I've almost always shot with exclusive daylight. However, I've been learning recently that if you add just a splash of tungsten, even if you're shooting with daylight, but if you add a splash of tungsten and you can narrow it in on your subject, especially if your subject is someone who's black, it really helps make the skin tones pop. It adds that little bit of an amber tone to it, and it really helps the skin tones really stand out, and it also separates them from the background. And so that's something I've really been testing out and still playing with. I plan on doing an entire video on that and lighting in general, but I do like playing around with color temperatures for sure. Nice look, and the sound is good. Bro, is it back ordered yet? Is it out of back order? I don't think the A10 Mini Pro is out of back order yet. The A10 Mini Pro is still back ordered as far as I am aware. Now, one thing I will tell you guys, so like this microphone is just temporary right now. My personal plan is with this microphone, I'm going to be upgrading this to the Shure SM7B, which is a really, really high quality microphone. It's XLR, so the quality should sound and it should look and everything will be just way, way better than this little Blue Yeti. Although this Blue Yeti is perfectly fine. But I I had to go find like websites that weren't Amazon, weren't Adorama, weren't B&H, in order to actually find a lot of this gear. So much gear is back ordered right now, which for me really speaks to where people are going. Like right now, so many people are trying to create. Like if you go on Amazon and you try to get like the Rodecaster Pro, now granted, I understand COVID slowed down a lot of things, but the idea that like Rodecaster Pro, SM7Bs, podcast mics, a lot of cameras like Blackmagic cameras, the A10 Mini Pro, like a lot of these things are back ordered for like months, which obviously could be because of the whole, COVID situation. But I also think it has to do with the fact that a lot of people are about to jump into the creative market, because as creators, we can create from home, which means you can still work and still be safe. So if you have not decided to go all in on whatever your creator endeavor is, I think now is definitely the time. And I think all these things are just signs to tell you it's definitely time to go. All right, let's see what else. What other questions we got? All right, so we got some questions going towards James. I'll let him handle that. Any recommendations on shooting real estate videos on a camera without autofocus, i.e. Blackmagic 6K? So I love the real estate question. As some of you guys know, I've been releasing a lot of real estate related content this week, and that is because I am releasing my real estate masterclass training course online on Monday. I actually just updated the website, so I believe I have the link in the description right now. But this training course goes into all the details, including how to actually shoot the real estate videos in my settings. Now, I'll definitely still answer your questions, Devon. And basically, I don't like to shoot with autofocus when I'm doing real estate anyway. The main reason being is that you don't want your focus jumping while you're getting a shot. Now, no matter which way you're moving or something like that, I really never use autofocus. So something like the Blackmagic 4K or 6K, that works perfectly fine. I typically have my aperture closed down quite a bit. I'm never shooting with my lens like completely wide open unless it's like super dark in the house and I need to let in some more light. But for the most part, my aperture or my T-stop is somewhere around T4 or F4. And that allows me to keep way more stuff in focus. But if you guys are interested in knowing more about how to shoot real estate video, you should definitely check out my training course. If you're watching on Instagram, it's linked in the bio. And if you're watching on YouTube, I think it's linked in the description. I'm pretty sure I set that up before I started. But I appreciate the chance to do that simple little plug. All right. More people hopping in. I'm trying to weed out. I love that you guys are having conversations, but I'm trying to weed out the questions that are directed directly towards me. All right. Here's another question from Dylan. Says, do you think the Canon T7i is a good camera for real estate video? So I think that really you can get away with shooting real estate video with really any camera. It's more about pairing it with the right lens. This is something that I talk about in the training course, but I do think that if you can get a wide enough lens for your camera, you're going to be fine to shoot real estate video. The T7i is great. The M50 could be great. The problem that you run into with cameras like that is they have a crop on them, which means where, like, for example, actually this gives me a great chance to use this little camera switch here. So this here is the EOS R, and I shoot this with the 16 to 35 millimeter lens. Now, this works perfectly because it's a full frame sensor, and that full frame sensor just means that it's going to give me a wider frame of view. It's also going to let in more light. And so because I actually have a full frame sensor with this camera, I can get wider shots with just 16 millimeters. However, if you crop in on that sensor, so you're using an APS-C or a super 35 millimeter sensor or even a micro 4/3 sensor, that just means that your lens focal length or your focal width needs to be wider. I typically recommend being around 16 millimeters, so you're gonna have to do the math on that. I actually created an entire chart on what lenses you should get. That's also in that training course. But picking the right lens is crucial because you don't want the house to feel small because you didn't shoot with a wide enough lens, but you also don't want to get a lens that's so wide that you end up running into a situation where you're just outright, having like GoPro type warping on your footage. All right, so let's see what other questions we have coming in. Quick tip: I would try an A10 Mini Pro. One, keep it on Amazon's smaller stores. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see what other questions we have coming through. What's the best way to get real estate gigs? I actually just released a handful of videos this week on that whole topic. It literally is a full video, and it's all inside the training course. The thing I find with most filmmakers, and nobody take this personally because I don't really know what your work ethic is, but I will say is that a lot of filmmakers believe that if they make great videos, real estate agents or clients are just going to come. And that's really not the case. Real estate agents and every other client, they're busy people. And just because your work looks amazing doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to want to work with you, because they have to see how it benefits them. And so that's why a lot of times it requires that we go out and we try to make the business happen. So I would strongly recommend that if you are in that situation, go out there and try to make some business happen. You got to actually get out and talk to these people. Let's see. With the Tamron, oh wait, let me make sure I didn't miss another one. Let's see. Would the Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter lens be decent choice for real estate, video, and photo? I think that lens only works if you're shooting on a full frame camera. 17 millimeters is right on the edge. Like I said before, 16 is really the sweet spot, but 17 is okay, but you better be on full frame. If you're using 17 on like a T7i or a like a 90D, 80D, something like that, it really registers closer to like 23, 24 millimeters, which I think is going to be too tight. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Favorite picture profiles, thoughts on using no picture profile for quick turnarounds. Can you get away with it? So I think you don't have to use picture profiles if you don't want to. So like, for example, if I'm shooting on a Canon, I won't use a picture profile, right? Canon has great colors. The images look great coming right out of it. It's really, really good. However, when I shoot on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I always shoot flat. And then I just apply a LUT, or I do a personal color grade for it. And then I just apply it to all the clips. And that just has to do with the cameras themselves. Some cameras are great without a profile. Some cameras are not. And I think that really any Canon camera will be fine without it. Sony's do a decent job, but they really struggle with highlights if you're not using one of the profiles. So like your whites are always going to be blown out. It pretty much finds like the whitest part of the image and then it blows it out. That's the problem that I found with Sony. But it's not, it's not the end of the world. For example, so this camera right here is actually a Sony, and you can see what it's doing to my keyboard. Now, I can tell you that my keys are not this white, but it is finding this area as the whitest area, and then it is kind of exposing or shifting the colors to what it thinks this white should be. And that's definitely not the hue that these keys are actually. And so that's just something that Sony does. Now, obviously that camera is the Sony a7 III. And so it's obviously not the best Sony camera that's out there. There are better ones that you can definitely pick up. But that's really my opinion when it comes to shooting with picture profiles or no picture profiles. So I hope that answered your question. Let's see. You also don't want to use misrepresentation on how much space there is. Don't want people showing up thinking it's huge and it's not. That is a really, really good point. That's why I say 16 millimeters is kind of that perfect range when it comes to lenses for real estate. Real estate is really about selling the homes. I'm granted, of course, we're all filmmakers and creators and we want to make beautiful stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to represent the house in a way that the house looks good, but it's also correct, because you can make this awesome video for a real estate agent and it can be beautiful, amazing, well shot. But if it misrepresents the house and people come to the house to look at it and they're like, wait a minute, this backyard's not as big as it looked in the video, and they choose not to buy, the house doesn't sell, and then ultimately the real estate agent doesn't bring you back to shoot more videos. So definitely keep that in mind. All right, let's see. Other questions. I feel really bad. I have not hopped in Instagram for a minute. So let me see if there's any questions coming through on Instagram. Are you going to save this live? So on Instagram, it will be saved for 24 hours. So if you're hopping in or you're checking out the Instagram right now, you will get a chance to see this for 24 hours over on Instagram. So you can come back, play it back as often as you want. Now, for anyone who is watching on Instagram, if you really want to get engaged, hop over to YouTube, because this exact same live stream, exact same quality with camera switching, everything is available on YouTube at the same time, taking that live stream to the next level. All right, so let's see. What else do we have? Let's hop into some more questions. Would you consider checking out real estate videos and giving feedback if we purchase your course? I mean, realistically, you don't have to purchase my course in order for me to give feedback. That is something that I'm thinking about doing here on this live stream. That's one of the reasons why I like the idea of actually having like this screen. So I'm going to show you guys something that I'm planning on doing really soon. So if I go into here, I'm going to hop in here for just a second, and let's see if I can't find the one that I'm looking for. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find a video. So something that I can actually do is I can hit camera 4. I can switch over so you guys can see what's on my screen. And then I can do a picture-in-picture. And so you guys can see right now, I'm going to turn that volume down, but you guys are actually looking at a real estate video that I shot. And I could do something very similar to this with some of your work. So if I wanted to, scrub through a video and talk about certain things, teach certain things, like, okay, here's the type of shot you want to get. Here is one of my favorite shots that I've ever gotten, actually. So doing a little bit of speed ramping and then working our way into a new area. I can do all of that from right here. And I really think that that's going to be groundbreaking. So not only will I be able to teach you guys, but I'll also be able to, actually look at some of your own work and have you guys submit work that you want me to review. So a lot of that stuff will be coming to the channel very, very soon. Again, this YouTube channel and this live stream is kind of just the first test on what this can ultimately become. So what I ask of you guys is, if you have any great ideas for what I should be doing in the live stream, or if you have ideas for things I should be coaching on or training or whatever, send me a direct message, leave a comment in the video. You guys know all the different ways to contact me. Leave a comment on Instagram, whatever. I'd love to have you guys give me some feedback on that. So really, really excited about it. So let's hop into some more questions really quick. Which codec do you find yourself shooting your videos in? I'm sure has great benefits. Do you find shooting in RAW is worth the increased workflow? That really depends on the project. My favorite codec to shoot in is ProRes, primarily because Final Cut Pro, which is my main editor of choice, crushes it with ProRes. Apple has just worked ProRes into their software, and so you don't need crazy hardware. Like, I don't need to buy the most expensive computer in order to edit ProRes. So even when I'm shooting on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, it shoots in ProRes and it works great. When I'm shooting in RAW on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, typically I grade it in DaVinci and then I just export it out as ProRes, because when I'm actually doing my editing, I love working with ProRes. That's by far my favorite codec. AJ Kelly, what is up? What's good, man? I appreciate you hopping in on this live stream. Fellow Houstonian. Kenneth says, thanks. I'll be using the 17-28 on my A7 III. That is a good setup. A7 III, wide angle, full frame sensor, and then shooting on the 17-28. Let's review how to handle LUTs when lighting changes and video exposure. I think that's a really good one. How to handle LUTs. So the one thing that a lot of people, I'm not really sure how to put this. I guess a lot of people think that LUTs are just like, like save-alls. Like, no matter what you shoot, you can apply a LUT to it and then it's good to go. And I'm actually working on a video right now. There's a company that reached out to me, and they're not like sponsoring a video or anything, so I'm definitely not going to be tied to say anything good about them. But I will say is that they sell a lot of LUTs and presets and things like that. And the problem with most LUTs and most people's ideas when it comes to shooting with a LUT is that if they slap it onto their flat footage, that they're going to get amazing quality. But the real problem is LUTs are typically made off of existing footage. And so if your footage, when you shot it, doesn't look how they originally shot it when they made the LUT won't be perfect. And so what I typically like in a LUT is something that, one, you have a LUT that takes your flat profile to Rec 709, and then you can have a secondary LUT that once everything is perfectly balanced, like you've made your image looks good, then if you apply a LUT that's calibrated for Rec 709, you have a better chance at that LUT actually being compatible with multiple cameras. Now, obviously, the best way to go is to just find a LUT that's designed for your camera and the way that you shoot it. But even little things like if your white balance is off, or if your exposure is too far gone, whether overexposed or underexposed, the LUT won't save the shot. So definitely be careful when it comes to LUTs. I know I've personally even sold LUTs in the past, and that's always the biggest feedback. Is like, well, this LUT didn't work for my camera. And so now if you actually go and look at any of my LUTs that I've sold, all of my LUTs actually say what camera they're made for. And not only that, but like if it's Sony, it's S-Log2 LUTs, or if it's Canon, it's C-Log LUTs. So that way, you know, it's not for, Rec 709, or it's not for, Panasonic or Nikon or whatever. It's made specifically for specific cameras. So let's see other questions that we have coming in here, hopping on Instagram. So I'm loving, so something I'm definitely learning with Instagram is definitely a bounce in, bounce out. Instagram numbers are not super high, but I am seeing a lot of people coming through and then bouncing out. And maybe those people are bouncing out of Instagram and coming over to YouTube. Maybe that was you. If it was, let me know in the chat. I'm still trying to figure out where's the best place to actually run all my live streams. All right, next question. Is Flycam Red King good enough for real estate, or is a motorized gimbal worth the purchase? So I'm not 100% sure about that Flycam product, but I'll tell you, stabilization is really all you're looking for when shooting real estate. Now, obviously, a motorized gimbal, in my opinion, is the easiest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best or the best for you. So I would strongly recommend that you try to figure out what works out the best for you. I've seen people shoot real estate using glide cams, which I'm assuming that Flycam is very similar to that. So if you are someone who, needs to use a Flycam and it's very much like a glide cam situation, but you can get smooth footage, go for it. The biggest thing for me with glide cams is they don't hold the horizontal line. So they tend to tilt a lot, which isn't going to be that great for real estate because you want to make sure that the house looks level. So that's why I personally like 3-axis gimbals. But also, you don't need to get the most expensive gimbal out there. Now, I primarily shoot on the Ronin S. They now have a Ronin S Essential bundle, which I think is like $500. And then they have the Ronin SC, which I believe is like $300. And when it comes to shooting real estate, you really just need like a lightweight camera like this, like an EOS R. Honestly, you could get away with using like an EOS RP, and then you get a wide angle lens on it. And I can tell you that the EOS R with this lens on it could definitely be supported by Ronin S, and probably can be supported by the Ronin SC as well. And then of course Weeble or Zhiyun, however you pronounce it, they have like their whole Weeble line, which is lightweight. So you don't have to go with something big and crazy like a Ronin M or a Movi M5 or a Movi Pro. You don't need anything crazy like that. All right, let's see. Any tips on how to deliver videos and photos to real estate clients or realtor clients? I use Dropbox. I don't complicate it. I literally throw all their photos and video into a folder, share the folder link with them. The biggest thing I'll tell you is just make sure that everything's pre-formatted. You want to make sure that it's going to work with their setup. Canon's WeTransfer is good to deliver photos and video files. They are. James, man, I appreciate you hopping in this comment and knocking out some of these questions. I really feel good because I feel like if I forget anything, James is going to knock out the questions. He probably is actually answering them faster than I can at this point. IC Film Productions. how to find multi-million-dollar real estate in your area. I live in Alberta or Albert, so the houses are not like houses in LA. So that is one thing. Obviously, real estate is one of those areas where it is highly based off of where you live. However, I mean, you just kind of have to get creative. I did an entire video on how I actually find my high-end real estate listings in Houston. So definitely check out that video. I'm trying to remember what I titled it. I released so many videos this week. I don't even remember which one I call that one. But I would say check out the videos that I released this week. I go over how I do it using Zillow. It's an awesome way to get started. AJ Kelly. So, have you had any issues with your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera when it comes to IR filters giving the footage a magenta color when putting an ND filter on it? So I don't. Actually, right now, I wish I could show it to you. Maybe this is an idea. Maybe I can do like a behind the scenes camera of my entire office for live stream setups like this. But actually, right now, on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I'm shooting with a ND filter on it right now. Now, yes, I am inside, which might come off as a little weird. A lot of people don't use ND filters when they're indoors, but I actually like to overexpose my image and then add a variable ND and use that to like stop in my exposure the exact amount of light that I'm looking for. So I'm actually using an ND filter on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera right now, and I haven't really had that issue with magenta tones, but you can always just color that out. And I literally find that whether you're using a Blackmagic RAW or you're using ProRes, as long as you're shooting flat on the Blackmagic, you can color pretty freaking well. And so if you're having issues with magenta tones, you can easily take those out. Some of that might be lighting though. Definitely keep that in mind too. Let's see. Appreciate it, James. Do you discuss virtual tours for real estate in your course? I'm not really sure what you mean by virtual tours. If you're talking about like the Matterport system, I don't. But if you're talking about how I actually go about shooting video tours, like the full walkthroughs and everything, the editing, talking about how to get clients, all of that is in there. In fact, actually, let's go ahead and do that for a quick second. So I'm going to pull it up on my website right now. Let's see, because I actually just updated the not entire thing. That's a little bit of a stretch. But today I went in onto my training course, and let's hit that and do a quick little picture. All right, so let's take a look at it. So this is the real estate masterclass. So this is the website, the Creative Fam Academy. And as of right now, as you guys can see, I have early bird pricing of $145 going on until Monday. Monday is when the course will actually be official. Like, so if you want to purchase it and start learning everything, we actually finished uploading everything today. We have a few more things that we need to do on the course. But you can purchase the course for $145. Now the regular price of the course is going to be $249, and that's where these pay over time setups are. So if you are someone who maybe you can't, afford the $145 or even the $249 all up front, I'm trying to help out as many people as I can. And so I have it set up where you can pay over 3 months or over 6 months, and they still both just add up to $249. Like, there's no interest, there's no penalty, but it just gives you that option. But if you are someone who wants to take advantage of the early bird pricing, you can do that. You can click Act Now and then sign up and purchase the course. Here's just an example of one of my videos. Like I said, you have just a few more days before that you can actually get it. But this is the part that I actually want to talk to you guys about. So this is the course curriculum. So I added the course curriculum to the site today. So you can see, like, for example, I have a crash course where I actually go over everything. So I go over the gear, I go over the shooting, I go over the editing, I go over the business, but I don't spend a lot of time on it in the crash course. So if you are like a filmmaker who is like established, maybe you're someone who already knows how to shoot video, but you just want to learn some of my techniques, you want to learn some of the things that I look into it. And, because I've gotten some training courses sometimes and I'm like, man, half this stuff, like, I already know this, like, get to the point. that's where the crash course comes into play. So if you are someone who is tired, like you don't need every little bitty detail, the crash course is a great place to start. And then out of the crash course, I go into everything else. So I have a whole section on the gear that I use. I talk about choosing the right gear, lenses, gimbals, drones, accessories, audio accessories. And then remember, not too long ago, I released that video of what's in my real estate camera bag. That is actually a part of this training course as well. Then I go over camera settings. We talk about resolution and frame rate. I need to fix that. That is a mistype. That's supposed to be white balance. We go over drones. We go over what to do before you start shooting, what to do when you're shooting. Talk about the real estate video business. So if you want to create an entire business out of shooting real estate, we go over that. And then, of course, I walk you guys through how I edit my videos in Premiere Pro and in Final Cut Pro X. I primarily prefer Final Cut Pro X, but I understand some people like to edit in Premiere. And before I used Final Cut, I did use Premiere. And so I show you guys how I do all of that. And something else that I really like is the fact that we've added documents to this training course as well. So that means if you are someone who is wanting to do this, you're going to get access to all of the documents that I use. So that's the contracts, that's the release forms, all of those things are located inside this training course. So when you buy it, you literally are getting everything you're going to need. You're going to learn everything you need. I talk about how to find clients, how I get them, all of that great stuff. All of that is located on the training course website. So as I said, you're basically able to save some money if you order it between now and Monday. And then Monday, the price will change. So let's take a look. Sorry, I saw some more questions came through while I was out. So let's see. Hi from Brazil. Appreciate you. Let me see. These are all good. No, anyways, management cast. I missed some questions. Hold on. Let's see. Do you know if there is an app or a website that I can use to give my customers contracts that is a digital signing feature? There is one. I'm trying to think of what it's called. James, James, I know you're in the comments. I know you probably have an answer for that. But DocuSign, that is the one that I use. So when I have clients who don't know how to sign a PDF, which I mean, today, if they have an iPhone, it's fairly easy. You can actually mark up documents directly on the iPhone. But I have that availability for them. So that's really good. But DocuSign is a great platform that people can use to sign documents digitally. Do you include use of footage from your shots in your contracts or your perpetual use? Do you include use of footage? Oh, yes. So in the contracts, this is something, obviously all my contracts are editable. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to give you the Pages version, the Word version, and the PDF version. But I will say that if you are someone who is thinking about, not using my contracts the way they are, you can change them. But on my contracts, I do give the real estate agent perpetual use indefinitely for that video. Now, I own all the footage, but I do allow them to use that video over and over again. The reason why I recommend that you let real estate agents use the video over and over is because you want them to use that video to get more clients, because then those clients are going to want a similar video, and then they'll hire you to come back and use that video. So realistically, if you can equip your real estate agent in order to be more successful and get more clients, you will ultimately get more work. It is a very give and pull type of business. So I do strongly recommend you guys do that. I'm going to check something really, really quickly here because I believe we're actually getting close to an hour. Wow, that's crazy that we've almost been on here for an hour. And I know on Instagram, you are limited to live streaming for only an hour. So yeah, we're about 10 minutes in on Instagram. I might just let Instagram go. Because there's not a huge amount of people who are hopping over on Instagram. If you are on Instagram and you want to stick with us, definitely come over to YouTube because that is where the party's at. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have here? You have Adobe. There's a digital sign up app. See, I knew James was gonna give an answer. He knew. He knew it. Adobe has it. They have an app, so appreciate that. Would you consider lowering the price for us Canadians because we have to pay basically $200, and that's like double the price? It's not quite double the price. I don't know how that would work, just to be honest. I feel like for my Americans, that would not be fair. But I'll look into seeing like what the rate difference is, and if my platform does something to actually help with that, I'll have to look into that. That's an excellent question. Let's see. What streaming formats are you using? I don't know. I don't really know what I'm using to stream right now. I mean, I'm using the A10 Mini Pro and whatever that does. So yeah, that's not really that helpful. James, you probably know that. James, help me out. James Holmes, I only use DaVinci. Let's see. What other questions we have? Hey, Brandon, saying hello from the Bahamas. Keep up the good work, man. I've never been to the Bahamas, but it's definitely a place I would love to go and visit. I appreciate the love and the support on the channel. And let's see. DocuSign is good, as Brandon mentioned. QuickBooks also has something, but it comes at a fee. Yeah. So QuickBooks is actually something that I personally use to like manage all my business finances. So I would, if you guys are interested in QuickBooks, I can say that it is something that's worth it. QuickBooks offers a lot of stuff. For example, you can send invoices, which is important. You can actually collect funds via credit cards via QuickBooks. And then as James said, I didn't even know, I'm probably paying for this and didn't even know I was getting it. The option to actually use documents to be signed within QuickBooks. So I'm actually going to look into that personally myself to see how that works. Actually got a comment over on Instagram. Let's see what that says. Second to None Productions. Keep up the awesome work, Brandon. Creative fam through and through. Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who has hopped in on this live stream. As I said, we've been going for about an hour now, which is kind of crazy. But that really is for me kind of the ideal time frame for the live streams. I want to be able to help you guys out. I want to be able to answer questions for you. Let's see if there's any last minute questions as we kind of get to the end of this thing, trying to shut it off right around 7 o'clock. Because let's face it, it's Friday night. We all have families or things we'd rather be doing. It's the reason why I chose 6 to 7, so that way everybody could hop in on the live stream, watch it, engage, get some knowledge, some content out of it, and then be able to move forward. So let me hop in here really quick and make sure there's no additional questions that you guys have before I shut this thing down. Can you talk about traveling out of state for video work? Any good advice? I mean, I travel for video work all the time. I travel quite regularly, actually. Obviously, before all this, Corona stuff happened. I was traveling and I loved it. The only advice I would say is just make sure you get your money right. If you're getting paid, you should get paid for your time to travel. You should also get a per diem. So I don't know if you maybe are aware of what that is. Basically, a per diem is an amount of money that they pay you for every day that you're spending outside of your natural stay. And then also they need to obviously accomplish or accommodate for your housing. So if you're staying in a hotel or something like that, they need to accommodate for that. I typically require a $75 to $100 per diem, depending on where I'm going. And then in times where I was like going to Los Angeles, where everything is expensive, I typically have $100 to $150 per diem. That's not for the job. That's not for anything else other than for me to be able to just eat. And that's, to be able to eat 3 times a day. But I typically try to get a hotel room that has free breakfast. So that allows me to have $150 to go towards lunch and dinner. And you can get some pretty nice dinners in Los Angeles if you do that. But as of right now, no traveling. I'm not chancing it. I'm not going anywhere. Are you using the Canon EOS webcam utility? No. D-Mogul, for you just who showed up, I'm actually using the A10 Mini Pro. Allows me to do some pretty cool stuff on here. Man, looking forward to the next one already. Man, it's going to be coming. I'm going to be doing these. My goal is to get to these every single week. I know that may be a little bit ambitious. As a lot of you guys know, I used to do a business Monday and I loved them, but the problem I had with them was there was just so many questions afterwards. So many people had questions and I felt like I could never truly answer them. And trying to reply to some of you guys' questions in the comments is almost like writing a novel. And so live streams is what's going to allow me to really help solve a lot of those things. But yeah, if they're willing to pay, you should be willing to travel. Let's see. Have you had any clients side-eye you yet for using your iPhone on a shoot? So I'm almost always like open with them when I'm shooting using my iPhone. I'm assuming you're talking about when I shoot real estate videos. I'm almost always open and honest with them when I'm using the iPhone. There's been a few times where, I saw the house, knew the agent wasn't going to be there, and I just did it just to do it. And my clients honestly never really noticed. Like, no one's ever like messaged me and was like, hey, did you shoot this weird, or what's going on here? Because with real estate, actually something that the iPhone does really well is it keeps everything in focus. And that's what people want when they're looking at a house. They want to be able to see the house. So having shallow depth of field isn't really that crucial. And so the iPhone does that phenomenally. It's fire. All right, let's see. Last couple questions. Deez Floyd says, I live in Houston and want to become a freelance editor. What is your advice for beginning editors and what to do and think of should learn to complete with a better editor? So first of all, don't compete. Don't think about competing. Just think about doing what you do. I wouldn't say you should think about how do you compete against other editors. What you need to do is find filmmakers who don't like editing and figure out how you can help them specifically. Don't worry about competition. So for example, I don't really like editing. And so I have someone who helps me edit my videos. His name is Travis, and we partner together. Like a lot of times when I talk about the training course, I say we is because he helps me to actually edit some of my training courses, because like this real estate training course is over 3.5 hours and it's like 40 videos. That is a lot. And quite honestly, I don't want to edit that much. But I also prefer to help other filmmakers and other people grow. So I was able to hire him to help me do the training course. So that's something that I personally like to do. I would say look out for other filmmakers. The one thing that some filmmakers, they hold on to their edit because the edit is where a lot of the creativity comes from. I think it takes a really mature and seasoned filmmaker in order to learn to let the edit go for someone else to do it. But yeah, that would be my advice if you're trying to hop into the freelance world, is find yourself a filmmaker who's willing to let the edit go. And then when you get that chance, man, just crush it. Make sure you crush it. All right. Just checking Instagram real quick to make sure that there were no other questions there. Let's see what else we got here on YouTube. Hey, Brandon, saw one of your videos on real estate videography. You mentioned Airbnbs is a great start. What did you discuss if they have amazing photos? How do you open them up to video? So if the person, obviously, if someone on Airbnb already has amazing photos, they may not be willing to do video. And that's just the honest truth. My advice with Airbnb, however, was really more so about just trying to get your first couple videos done. And like, I'm not a huge fan of shooting videos for free for people who can, like a real estate agent, when they sell a house, they make a pretty good amount of money. And one of my videos this week, I actually broke it all down. It's very math intuitive. But they make a pretty good amount of money. And so shooting a real estate video for free for a real estate agent, who's going to make, thousands off of that house and off that video, I don't think is really all that fair. So I like to go find other alternatives like Airbnb to actually, get my work out there. And the whole point with Airbnb is you can either find someone who has a house that you want to shoot, or you can just pay to actually rent the Airbnb. The same way we invest in cameras and everything else, investing $100 to $200 to rent an Airbnb for the night so you can shoot it and really go crazy, like shoot it in the morning, shoot it in the afternoon, like create the best real estate video you can, was more so my point. And that's why I like going Airbnb. That's my suggestion there. Also, all right. So my Instagram live just went down, and that's because it's been going on for an hour. So let me make sure I hop over to OBS really quick and stop that streaming. And I'm going to go to my thing, hit save and finish. All right. So back over to YouTube for just a second. Man, it's already 7 o'clock, man. I want to let some of you guys go here because I know you guys are tuning in. I mean, I know it's not 7 o'clock everywhere, but I want to let you guys go. Also, how has your experience been with the Canon RF 15 to 35? So I don't own the 15 to 35. I actually own the 16 to 35 EF. I don't own any RF lenses, and that is because on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I use an adapter to allow myself to use EF lenses on it. And so I want to be able to just have one lens on both cameras. I don't want to have to buy multiple lenses. So I buy all EF lenses and I just use the RF adapter, which was only $100. So it was perfect. What good cameras? Let's see. What's a good camera for someone starting out in real estate video? So if you're just starting out, I think my favorite real estate camera, and you guys are probably going to laugh because it's not really good for a lot of things, but for real estate, it's perfect and the price isn't that bad, is the Canon EOS RP. And the reason why I think it's such a great starter camera is because it's full frame. It's not that expensive, especially if you find it like, not on Canon's website, or don't go to Best Buy, but if you go to like eBay or some of these other sites, you can typically find the RP for pretty inexpensive. It's full frame, not that expensive. And with a solid lens, it's great. I mean, literally it's great. And because it's full frame, you'll allow yourself to take some really great photos with it as well. So for real estate, that might be my favorite camera so far. I'm still trying to figure it out. Obviously, I shoot with the Canon EOS R, but for real estate, the EOS R is actually overkill. There's a lot of features on here. If I was only shooting real estate, that I would definitely not need the EOS R, but it's a great starter camera. Honestly, any camera is great for shooting real estate. In fact, I've done entire videos on how I shoot real estate videos using my iPhone, and I've even charged clients and made money shooting real estate videos with my iPhone. I actually have an entire training course on how I do that as well. But the iPhone is even that great, and I've actually done it, and I have videos on it on my YouTube channel. You should definitely check those out. All right, let's see. Last bits of questions. Don't want to blow all your money on a camera and not able to get a good lens, lights, and stabilization. Yeah, if you're just doing real estate, you don't really have to worry about lighting. But I will say, if you're doing real estate, I would strongly suggest looking at like one of the Apple iPhones. And I know this sounds crazy, but literally, trust me, if you're just trying to shoot real estate video and make some money and you're just getting started, like if you're ground level, getting an iPhone with an ultra wide lens, which I know the iPhone 11 Pro is maybe $1,000, but you don't have to get the Pro. You can get just the 11, or even I think the XR is like, I think that's the phone. The XR might be $600, $700, something like that, $500, and you got a great camera, you got a great lens. It's a wide angle lens. Buy yourself a $100 DJI Osmo Mobile, and you are set. Go shoot some real estate videos and make some money. James said he knew I was going to say the EOS RP. Yep, that's it. They have refurbished RPs on Canon's website for $800. Boom. There you go. So the RP is probably one of my favorite cameras for real estate right now. I just love full frame. And when it comes to shooting real estate, I talk about this in the training course as well. I'm giving you guys a lot of nuggets from that training course. But I don't color grade that much, because you want the house to look natural. And in my opinion, the best camera with the most natural look out of camera is Canon. And so when it comes to shooting houses, I love Canon for that reason. If I shoot a house with a Blackmagic, which I have, I end up having to color grade it because I got to try to get it back to looking like Rec 709, making it look back to being neutral. But the Canon just has a way of handling it and making it look really good straight out of camera. And when it comes to shooting real estate, I am like, I'm more about flipping them, right? So I go shoot the house, I edit it the same day, or I give the edit off to Travis, and then I move on to the next house. And we don't spend more than 2 hours on a house when we edit it. And so when you actually look at my training course and the whole editing portion of it, you'll see we try to flip through that actual edit fairly quickly. And I teach you all the tips on how I'm able to knock that out so quickly. Let's see. Let's hop into some last minute questions here. I know I've said that for the last 10 minutes, but you guys keep asking great questions. So I keep wanting to answer them. What about your gimbal? What gimbal do you recommend that doesn't break the bank? I like the Weeble systems. Zhiyun is pretty good. My favorite gimbals are DJI, hands down, but I know they're more expensive. So I would probably look at like the Ronin SC or the Ronin S Essential bundle. Those are not super expensive, but again, use an iPhone with the Osmo Mobile 3. I did a whole video on it. Literally did a whole video on how I shoot it, and I created an entire training course. It's only $50, I think, for that training course. I kept that training course really inexpensive because I wanted people to be able to use an iPhone and take a cheap gimbal and go make money. That's literally the whole point of that training course. But I've also put out 2 videos on my channel using an iPhone to shoot real estate videos. So y'all should definitely check that out. Let's see. Let's hop in. Last couple questions. This is probably already asked, but do you need a Part 107 drone for real estate? That question has not been asked, Ross. That is an amazing question. Yes, you do. Now I know a lot of real estate filmmakers who don't have a license. I do. I have my license, but you do need to have a license in order to shoot real estate. And I'll tell you, if you use a drone to shoot real estate, and I understand some people are just not going to obey the law. I talk about this in my training course. I recommend you obey the law because especially when you start working with high-end homes, like $1 million homes, $1 million plus homes, typically those real estate agents are very good at what they do. They know the rules, the laws, and everything else. And so they may ask you if you're licensed, especially when you're reaching out to them. Now, if you are licensed, that just solidifies your professionalism. So I do recommend getting your Part 107 license if you plan on using drone in your real estate videos. But I also understand that I can tell you to do the right things, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to. So, yeah, do whatever you think you need to do. So let's see what else we got here. How do you earn money depending on the price of the home? How do you earn money depending on the price of the home? So I just have flat rates. I try to make it really simple for my real estate stuff, but I just pretty much go in with a flat rate. So that way, because the problem sometimes is the price of the house will fluctuate, especially when they start negotiating. So you don't want to really get knocked into like a percentage of the house. What I recommend you doing is just having like different price points that you shoot at based on the size of the house. Because a lot of times the size of the house will tell you roughly what the price is. Like, and that depends on where you live, obviously. Like here in Houston, houses are big. And so it's very easy to get a house that's 400,000 square feet. Like that's nothing here in Houston. So typically, like I like to raise my prices when the houses start getting more into the sizes of like 700,000, 10,000 square feet. That's 700,000, 7,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. That's when my prices really start rising up because those are typically going to be your multi-million-dollar houses, at least here in the Houston area. Cool. B&H has a one-day sale on the FiuTech AK2000 gimbal for $169. So I actually tested out the AK4000 gimbal and I loved it. And then I tested out the AK4500 gimbal and I hated it. So I don't know really what to tell you there. If you can return it, I say for $169, buy it and then test it out. And if you hate it, return it. If it says all sales are final, then maybe be a little bit on the edge. But I can tell you with the FiuTech, I've had really great experiences. And then I also had a really bad experience. With the AK4000, I loved that gimbal. I thought it was amazing. I actually gave it away 2 years ago because I thought it was so good and I wanted to like bless somebody for Christmas. But then they actually sent me the AK4500 and then I never made a video on it because I did not think it was good and I didn't really want to badmouth it and like create an entire video just to badmouth it. It's not really, I hate making videos like that. Sometimes I have to, sometimes I feel compelled to, but I try not to. What is your take on speed boosters? Rock with them. I love speed boosters. I use a speed booster on my Blackmagic all the time. I don't know if anyone has mentioned this before, but nice jacket. Well, I appreciate that. What if you don't have a drone and you want to do real estate photography? It's going to be harder. I think that when it comes to real estate photography, especially, most agents are asking if you have a drone. You don't have to shoot it. I've done it without it, but I just to be 100% honest with you. Once you really start going, a lot of real estate agents are going to ask you if you have a drone. It's one of the few areas where having a drone is really important. I shoot a lot of commercial properties, or not commercial properties. I shoot a lot of commercial work, and we don't always use drones for commercials. I mean, it's actually maybe 50-50 or even 60-40, 40% of the time actually using a drone on a commercial. But I will say with real estate, it's probably closer to like 90-10, 90% of the time, probably 95% of the time I go shoot real estate, whether it's just photos or it's photo and video, I'm almost always using my drone. So definitely something to keep in mind. Good lights make the footage, all footage, good sound makes the film. I like that. I may steal that. Love from Toronto, Canada. Appreciate it in Canada. Appreciate the love. Find someone who has a drone and a license. That is a really good point. Man, James, I'm seriously, like, every live stream, I'm going to need you here from this point going forward. Send me a message, man. James is in the chat helping me out. I'm pretty sure there's a way to like highlight you and make you like a contributor on this channel or something like that. I appreciate you helping me answer all these questions. Drone sections in the course. Yes, there is an entire section on drone. Actually, right now, for everyone who just hopped in, I've updated the website on the real estate masterclass. There is an entire, like, it actually has, so if you go to the website right now, actually, let me just do a quick little switch here. This is the full course curriculum. It is now on here, and you can actually drop into each of these sections and see what is covered here. So with drones, I go over some of the legality of drones, talk about the drone settings, and then drone shots. So you can actually go to the website right now and you can see the full course curriculum. You can check it out. Obviously, you're not going to get access to the videos yet. Those will be coming live on Monday. So if you've already purchased the course, let me actually kick back out of that for a second. If you've already purchased the training course, you will be able to get access to all the videos come Monday. And as I mentioned, as of right now, the videos or the training course is on sale for the next 2.5 days. Come Monday, the price will change. The early bird pricing will be gone, and the price is going to change. So just know that the best time to buy, if you are interested, I do strongly recommend purchasing now if you can. I understand that not everybody can do that, so I don't feel obligated. Again, I'll try to keep releasing as much content as I can, but I will say that me and my team, between Travis and a couple other people, we worked really hard to actually bring this training course together, and it did actually cost me money to make this thing happen. A lot of people put in quite a few hours, and so that's the only reason why I'm really charging for this. I still keep putting out free YouTube videos because my goal is to teach people, but sometimes with things like this and other things that I want to teach in the future, it's just going to require a lot from us. And so I'm just trying to get everybody compensated for their time and energy. So let's hop in one more time. Let's see. What's up, man? Here from Phoenix, Arizona. Man, I will say, if you're from here from Phoenix, I freaking loved Scottsdale. I know it's not exactly the same place, but Scottsdale is definitely one of my favorite places to visit. I did a job out there, and I think Scottsdale and Phoenix has like the best sunsets I've ever seen in my life. I flew my drone so much when I was out there. Love Phoenix, love Scottsdale. Found a broken DJI Mavic Pro with a broken gimbal. It was super easy to fix it. The guy once wanted $600, but I got it for $150 and fixed it for $20. Do research and see what you can find to fix it. Yeah, man, if you can find a broken drone and get them fixed, like, you can probably save a lot of money. So appreciate that. If anyone here wants to network, gotta love those. Let's see. Okay, well, that's cool. Do you know Connie? Oh wait, that's not to me. I got one early bird pricing, and I can't wait until Monday. Appreciate that, E Brown. I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Monday, everything drops. It's gonna be. I think you're really gonna love the training course. We really put a lot of time and energy into making it. Something else that's really interesting for anyone who's still tuning in for this live stream, who knows about the training course, and this is something about all of my training courses, is they're always updatable. Like, so the platform that I'm using to actually do all my training courses allows me to update them. So if there's anything in the training course, and if you purchase a training course, be on the lookout, because after the course has been out for a little while, I'm actually going to send out an email to everyone who actually is using it. Is I'm going to actually ask you guys to give me feedback on the training course, so that way I can actually update it. And the nice part is, once you buy the training course, you have it. Like, it's yours in perpetuity. So you own that training course. So any updates that I add to the course, when I add new things, which I can be, just to be 100% transparent with you, me and my team have already, like, after finishing the course and sitting on it for like about a week or so, we've already found things that we know we want to add to it. And so the course will be updated probably in about 2 to 3 months, just because that's the current workflow. But we know that we're going to update the course and make it even better. The course, in my opinion, is already way better than I thought it was going to be. I just kept finding new ways to add more nuggets and more information to it. And so I was really excited about that. And so we're going to keep making the course that much better. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Yo, man. Love the cotton candy sunsets. Yeah, man, those cotton candy sunsets in Arizona are freaking beautiful. Let's see. Worth keeping the original DJI Mavic Pro, or should you sell it and upgrade to another one? I don't really think you need to upgrade, quite honestly. Like, you have the original Mavic. I mean, now granted, I have the Mavic Pro too. Honestly, all the drones from DJI are great. You could be shooting on any of them at this point. They're all good. You don't really need to upgrade. But if you want to, go for it. Watching from Massachusetts. Never been there. Never been to Massachusetts, but definitely want to check it out. I want to travel more. I will say Corona has definitely taught me that I don't travel enough. So let's see. Super easy fix. And does your pro plan include the master class? And are there still seats? So I know this is maybe a little controversial. Let me put it to you guys this way. So I created the pro plan about a month ago, and it is still technically on the website. So if there is somebody, I'm seeing some people are actually checking out the course right now. If you signed up for the pro plan, yes, you will get access to this masterclass. And the pro plan is currently, I think it's on sale for $199. And I haven't taken it off the website. So let me explain it to you. So I have the Creative Fam Academy Pro Plan. It was a beta. It was kind of like something I put together. And it's $195 for a year. And you get access to everything on my website. So that includes the real estate home tours, the contracts, the lighting, all this stuff. But technically the time is out. So the only problem is I saw somebody actually signed up for it yesterday, and I did not take it down. I'm taking it down like tomorrow. So just know that if you did sign up for it, yes, you're going to have access to all those things. If you do want to try to jump on it, I mean, technically, can you still buy it? Yes. But I'm taking it down. So it's not something that's going to be up there. I mean, if you're on this live stream and you're able to take advantage of it, then hey, man, go for it. Consider it a blessing at this point. Because all those training courses on my website are at least $50 plus. I mean, especially if you get the real estate. I mean, think about it. The real estate training course is $249 by itself, regular price. The pro plan gives you access to everything on the website, including that, for a year for only $195. That's why the pro plan has to come down at this point, because I realized that the pro plan was vastly underpriced, especially for the value. Now, granted, it is only good for a year, right? So you're going to have access to everything for the year. But yeah, So to answer your question, it is still available, but it's coming down very soon. All right, let's see. Last bits of questions. No problem. Don't have any problems answering you guys' questions. I'm MFA. If you need me, hit me up. Look at that. 2 people from Massachusetts get a chance to know each other, meet each other. If anybody is around that area, y'all meet up. Let the creative fam be strong. Keep doing your thing, brother. My girlfriend is in the chat. I love you, Ashley. I love that. I love that you guys. We got couples in the chat. Couple creators, man. That is awesome. That's actually so. My wife does not shoot video at all. But it is cool to see when I see couples that both love filmmaking or love creating. Typically, it's like one person likes shooting video, the other likes doing photos. And then every time I've seen that they also like run like a wedding business or something like that together. So that's really awesome. Boston, Massachusetts has expensive properties, but beautiful houses. Yeah, man. I mean, and this is kind of some of the blessings. Like, if you live in an area that has really high priced houses, you can charge a lot to shoot real estate videos and make a pretty decent living. Now, obviously, you have to live in that same area, but if you can like travel in and make some money on shooting some of these higher end homes, I say go for it, man. Make some money. That's my goal, really, with this whole channel. Like, the whole goal for me is that people make some money doing what they love. All right, so we have been live chatting for an hour, almost an hour and a half. I think it's time to shut this thing down. Again, anybody who is interested in the real estate training course, links to that are down below in the description. Also, thank you guys for hopping in, getting in the chat, asking me some awesome questions. This whole thing has been an amazing experience. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Instagram already went down because we have been live streaming for over an hour. YouTube, you always get the after show, but I appreciate you guys for hopping in this live stream. Can't wait to see you guys in a future live stream. I'll be starting to drop these again like once a week, so definitely be on the lookout. Dropping these once a week. If you are still here, be sure to hit that like button on your way out. It does help, especially with live streams, because it allows the algorithm to know that I'm going live and that they should, share my live streams in the future. So if you enjoyed this live stream, if I answered your question, I'd really, really appreciate if you guys could hit the like button on your way out. But thank you guys so much for checking out the video. If for some reason you're not subscribed to the channel and you're still watching, I don't know what you're doing, hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you guys in a future video. Appreciate it. Take care.